So we discussed about paragraph rules right yesterday. Okay, so yesterday's requirement was like we have to design a screen for terms and conditions. Okay, and in these terms and conditions, we are supposed to include a small image, maybe a kind of video, and then we have to take care of one sprite image concept here. And we wanted to display a big label. Okay, welcome to HDFC Bank as one standard label, and below which we want to display some text in kind of organized way with numbering points and bullet points and kind of tabular form. And below, there must be a checkbox for terms and conditions acceptance, maybe a text box for collecting name and a text box for collecting place. Okay, so this is what our requirement is. And in this complete screen, we can see n number of UI elements, out of which all these are meant for data displaying part, and only these three are meant for data capturing part. So if you wanted to configure a view or section from case types, so there we can create only properties. Okay, only these three things is what we could do from the case types designer. So after we are done with that, we could see a section with these three properties. And then additionally, we have to create a binary file for an image. So maybe a binary file with sprite concept for this, maybe a binary file with extension as MP4. Okay, so maybe if you wanted to include one Excel sheet or PDF, all these things yesterday we have seen. So now if I wanted to create a binary file, this will be under what category? Come on. Binary file
Technical
will be
category.
it will be technical. So what is its instance class?
Rule
Dash
binary.
File binary.
Rule?
Rule file binary.
Rule file binary. Okay, so it should be having one unique PEGA dynasty also. Okay, fine. Consider one small requirement. So that is, if this is the screen I have, displaying with image 1, maybe image 2, maybe image number 3. So if I click on this image number 1, immediately that respect one should be downloaded in my local machine. So how to implement this functionality? On click on particular image that has to be downloaded. How to do this?
Sure, it could be a down Excel sheet. It could be Excel sheet also.
Can be
Or
anything.
just
So binary file, if
okay.
I click on respect to binary file, then we should see the respective file to be downloaded. It can be an image, video, or Excel or PDF, whatever it might.
So at properties, we have to give the PZINS key and then a dot download file, and then there is
What do you mean by
another.
property?
Sorry,
What do you mean by property? I did not get you.
binary file, right?
Okay,
So we will drag
let
and
me
drop.
ask you something different. Let me ask you something different. Okay, so there must be an image and there must be one video. Okay, and there must be kind of one Excel sheet. So we know how to include three binary files like this, correct? Yes, right?
Yes, yes.
So there must be one small button. Okay, so you should know how to drag and drop a button also by this time. So download all. Okay, I should say a button like download all. If I click on this download all, the respect to three binary files, which can be of JPEG extension or MP4 extension or PDF extension. If I click on this, all the above three things should be downloaded for me one after another. So if this is the task given, what you'll do?
So for this, we have to create one extra property for this,
Extra
and
property. Yeah? So is this
extra property are
Hmm. So does this screen have any part of data capturing?
no.
No. So if there is no data capture, what is the point of creating a property? You know, property is to hold some value, right?
Yes.
So I can see total 4 UI elements, which doesn't hold any value. This is for image. This is for some kind of, okay. All these are meant for data displaying part. So you should first understand how to include an image like this, how to include an video, how to include a PDF, and how to include a button also. So what for creating a property? So maybe yesterday, whatever the extra video I shared. So on click of that respect to image, can you make it's like download it? Yes, right? Did you watch yesterday's video?
Yes.
Yes.
What about others? Chusara?
Yes.
Yes, Chandra.
Okay, so if I click on the respect to file, binary file, it has to be downloaded. So for that, you have to go to its actions. Okay, on click is the event there. Action is like there is one OOTB activity with the name download file, which is from rule file binary class. Correct, right?
Yes.
That's right. So if you can
Yes.
pass something like PZINS key, which is unique, so that respect to file will be downloaded. Okay, if I click on this, just pass its PZINS key. If I click on this, just pass its PZINS key. If you click on this, just pass its PZINS key. So this design is like simple. So now based on that knowledge, I'm asking you to do something different. That is include three files, three binary files, and include a button. So you should know how to drag and drop a button also.
Yes.
Yes,
Yes.
right.
Data
So,
capture.
so you can simply drag and drop a button. Now, if I double click on this button and on click of this, now what I have to do? So no doubt
Yeah.
I have to go for downloading the respective file, right?
Yes.
Yes.
In that scenario, what you have to do? You have to go
You
for
have to
Go
click
for all
all
actions.
action, click on all actions,
hmm,
then go for
Open
open
URL in
URL
window.
in new
open
window.
URL new window, correct? Hmm.
Then you give the activity
Act.
here as
Activity.
PZINS key dot download file.
Okay. Rule by file
And
binary dot download file. And what will
file
be the
the
PZINS key you pass now? The first one.
rule.
Okay. Again, you have to go for the same. So go for rule, open URL new window, pass the second one. And
Yeah.
likewise, go for the third one. Okay,
Yeah.
so on single click of this button, three actions are required, not just single. And yesterday's task was like on click of this one, only one single action to download its own. On click
Yeah.
of this, download its own. Only one single action on all these three, right? Now on
Yes.
click of this button, I have total three different exercise to be done. To download the first one, I know it's PZ Dynasty. To download the second one, I know it's PZ Dynasty. Maybe the third one. On click of this, go for click action or click event with the three different actions, passing PZ Dynasty and all these three. So you can try this also, correct?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so after you trying this, try for one more scenario. On the same button, instead of click, so go for double click. If I double click on this, then only all the three must be downloaded. And next one you try for on hover itself. So if you can just remove this click event and go for hover, that is enough. If you just hover on it, all the three must be downloaded. If you just double click on this, all the three must be downloaded. So you can try with any other events also. Okay, you make it as an homework. Got it right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, so now coming back here.
Chandra, I have one doubt.
Yes, tell me.
Yeah, actually, I was trying yesterday's assignments. So, in the dynamic layout header part, I was trying to include an image. Okay, so the spirit part was not working on this
Right.
particular heading. So,
Heading
is
it
this
will not work.
expected?
It is expected. Yeah, heading part it will not work.
Okay.
So why? Because it is statical heading, right? So you will be coming across something called composite headers. So on that composite heading part, it will work. Okay, so yesterday, whatever the assignment video I gave you, that is kind of statical heading. Okay, if you just take it, if you just double click on this, you can see some kind of statical. Okay, so in future, you'll come across something called dynamical also. Let me show you that. So here you can drag and drop. Okay, you can see one small box kind of, right? So whatever you include inside this one, this will be kind of composite header. So in composite header, it will work out. Okay.
Oh,
Later you'll come to know this.
yeah.
Okay. So coming back here, in our yesterday's section, we clearly understood how to work with this properties part and how to work with any kind of binary files. Now let us understand how to include with this label part. Okay, to include with this label part. So to display any message, any standard message in PEGA, we can achieve with the three things actually. So that is like label is one thing, and something about like paragraphs. Paragraph is one thing, and something about like field value. Okay, getting my point? So now my requirement is just to show a message like welcome to HDFC Bank. So just for that, I can go with something called label or paragraph or field value. So we should understand what is label, what is paragraph, and what is field value. So let's start designing with something like label. It will be very simple. So based on which slowly you'll understand the differences also. Binary files అయిపోయింది. Okay, practical one.
Chandra, quick question.
Tell me.
When you hover the mouse, right? That is that called tooltip?
No. So tooltip is kind of action. Okay, so there will be two things here. So this is my PEGA PRPC, right? So here, if I mouse over on this, what I'm getting? I'm getting a message like checked out records, correct?
Yeah.
So event is hover. What is the action? Some tooltip. అవునా కదా?
Oh,
Event
okay,
is
okay.
hover. So you are talking about events, and this is something like action. So events can be hover, click, double click, tab, enter key, right click, left click. Okay, enter key, rasama. So all these are events, and you are talking about action. Action can be, my action can be like an downloading a file. My action can be a tooltip. My action can be a smart info. My action can
Even
be
validation
an
also,
email.
right? Like some.
Anything. Action can be an sending an email. All this comes under actions. If your requirement is to go for tooltip, so based on what? Is it like on hover we have to get it, or on click of this, or on enter key? All these are like events. These are actions.
Okay. Got it. Thank you.
So now my requirement here is, so include a label in terms and conditions section, which is to be displayed in this way. Welcome to something like OZK Bank. And I wanted to display this message in red color. And even I wanted to show this with something like 25 pixel, and alignment should be of 30% from the left. If this is my screen, okay, from left to 30%, there should not be any space. Sorry, this must be extra space. From here, my message should start. It can be of any screen, okay, based on my laptop size or based on my device mobile size. So it has to take 30% free space from the left. So how to add some extra styles is what we are coming to know. So, generally styles can be applicable in two ways. Okay, anywhere in our front end design, not only on PEGA. So generally styles can be applicable in two ways. So that is about like inline styles, and the other one is like CSS. Okay, you know this, right? So in any techno or in any kind of UI page, styles can be like either inline or CSS. So now let me show you working with label to apply styles, which is like inline. Okay, so this is our requirement. Let's start working on. So this is our section number 1. Okay, so this is our section number 1. So where I wanted to take one label, right? So, label is also part of data displaying. So you'll be directly finding as label as option here. So let me drag and drop the label wherever you want it. So maybe I wanted to display this label after image. After image, I'm including it here. So you can see by default it has sample text. So just double click on this and you can modify whatever you want. So I wanted to display it as welcome to maybe OZK Bank. Okay. Fine. So now if I click on submit, save, check it in the output, you'll see this as it is. Okay, in the smaller text without any styles or colors. Now on top of it, we have to go for some extra styles, right? So if you wanted to go for extra styles, as I earlier told you, you have to go with something called skin rule. Okay, but you don't know what is skin, right? As of now. So we can even achieve with, okay, generally styles can be done with inline or CSS. In PEGA, we call this as skin. Okay, so we are not trying to go with skin for now. There is another alternative called inline styles. Inline styles meaning at its presentation level, we can do this. So go to presentation. And you'll see something called advanced presentation options. And here you have an option to add some styles. So whatever the styles we're adding it now, it will be applicable only for this label. Am I correct? Only for this label. And that too, you can clearly see these styles are not at all recommended in terms of production. So why it is not recommended? Why it is not recommended? So maybe if my requirement is to apply some styles for a text box. So this is like first name text box. This is like last name text box. Likewise, I have total 10 such text boxes. So my client requirement is to make modifications for this text box. That is, this must be having background color as red. Whenever I hover on that, it must be changed to blue as background. And whatever the values I type here, it must be displayed in green color. Okay, and its respect to error message must be showing in dark brown color. Whatever, my client is giving me certain set of requirements, and on its presentation, if I'm trying to add all these things, okay, it is looking fine. Now my client is asking me to implement the same for remaining text fields also. Then what I'm supposed to do? So whatever the manual effort I kept for this text box one, it cannot be used into other text boxes. Again, I have to implement for the second one, maybe manually for third one, manually for fourth, fifth, likewise. So if this is my screen number one, maybe screen number two, I have 10 more text boxes. Screen number three, I have 10 more text boxes. So my entire application has got 500 text boxes. And everywhere, if I wanted to apply some styles commonly, so which is not at all getting reused in this case. Okay, so applying styles on one single element, we call it as inline style, which will nowhere be applicable on every other element. This is the biggest drawback with inline. That is the reason inline styles are not at all entertained. Nothing but no reusability. Got my statement, everyone? Understood, right?
Yes.
Okay, so if you wanted to apply some styles across application level, okay, across application level, then you have to go for something called CSS, okay, which must be known for you. What is its full form? Anyone?
Cascode style sheet.
Cascading
Cascading
Style
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 sheet.
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 Cascading style sheets. Okay, in PEGA, we call this as skin. Okay, so skin meaning kind of application level related changes, application related changes. So in skin, if I go to any text box and add some styles there, wherever I use a text box, everywhere it must be applicable. Again, you'll be encountering some challenges. I have total 100 text boxes, 99 should be alike, one must be different. So how to make it from skin and how to make this alone not to be disturbed. Likewise, you have to understand a number of other scenarios. We'll work on all these things when we come across skin related part. So for now, since I'm at label related only, I'm just making you to understand something about like inline style. So once we are like comfortable with this kind of inline styles, working with skin rule will be very easy for us. Okay, working with skin rule will be easy. So for that, what I suggest you today itself is you all must try to learn this CSS part something from Google. Okay, or coming back to our discussion. So for this label, we are showing something like welcome to HDFC. I wanted to display it in something red color. Okay, or I wanted to display this in automatically uppercase, or something like taking 20 or 30 percentage margin from the left. So for that, it has to be done somewhere at the presentation. So here what you'll type, so you are supposed to give some attribute and you have to give some value for that. So what is the attribute? So margin left, this is one attribute. Then you have to give column. Okay, and its value must be 30%. In this way, you have to define the value. And this must be having one more style, right? So for that, you have to give semicolon. And now you can define font hyphen size. This is its second attribute. And maybe 25 pixel is what I'm trying to give it as value. And again, semicolon. Okay, and then color. Okay, color as attribute, semicolon, something as red, and then semicolon. So I'm trying to give total
Color
three.
hyphen or colon?
So that no. Color colon red. Okay, idanta attribute.
Okay.
Okay, so this is one attribute, and right side after semicolon you have to give the value like color blue, red, green, whatever. So if I click on submit, these styles must be applicable. So now if I ask you to add something new one, so here I'm trying to type everything in the uppercase. Instead, I type everything in the camel case. Automatically, it must be displayed here in uppercase, meaning text transformation must be to uppercase, right? So even I can do with some kind of styles here. So whatever the attribute names I'm telling you, you will be clear okay for now. So if I ask you to do something more, its background color should be so and so. On mouse over it must be so and so. And maybe for a text box, generally at corners you will see 90 degrees, right? Instead, if I wanted to show with some kind of circular radius or curved radius, so how to do all these styles? For that, if you are not knowing its attributes, if you are not knowing what should be the values, you cannot do this, right? For that, basic CSS knowledge is required. Basic CSS knowledge. So what I suggest you today itself is, you'll be getting one. I'll send you this document also. In this document, you'll be having just URL, I guess. Yeah. So you know W3 schools, right? Ilsa?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay, every one of you should be at least coming across the word like W3 schools. That is one simple website. So where any kind of front-end technologies is what you can easily learn. I'll show you that. So W3 schools, some kind of CSS tutorials is what you have to do. Okay, I'm not talking more about PEGA today. So I'm just making you to understand front-end styles. Front-end styles, in every project. Suppose if my project is running on PEGA, your project is running on Python, maybe another person's project is running on Java, whatever our backend technologies might be, if we are supposed to go for front end, so it must be purely done with HTML and its stylings must be done purely with CSS only. So today, if you learn at least basics of CSS and HTML, okay, need not be today, even after 10 years, it will be helpful for you. Today, you might work in PEGA project. Tomorrow, something on direct Java project. Maybe the next day, Python project, but front end will be same. Okay, so if you start learning CSS tutorials today, you might forget, no doubt. Okay, maybe after 5 years or 10 years, if you are supposed to work on any styling part, you will understand how to search it in Google. Okay, so what is like, you have to understand the attribute related terminology. So margin left is what you have to understand for our requirement today. Okay, border radius is what is like another attribute value. Okay, and a text transformation, text weight, all these are attributes. Okay, and its respective values automatically you'll get it from Google. So you'll at least get an idea how to search it in Google. So based on the respective websites like this, you'll get solution also. Okay, so I suggest every one of you today itself start working on this HTML tutorial and CSS tutorial. And HTML tutorial is not that important for PEGA, but CSS is like very, very helpful for us. Okay, so you just try to go for each and every tutorial, click on next, and hardly it will take maybe 1 or 2 days time for you. If you sit for the whole day, it will not take more than 1 or 2 days. Okay, and I ask you to do today itself. Maybe after 1 week or 10 days, whenever we step into our backend requirements like activities or data transforms, you will not even get time to understand whatever I'm talking on daily classes. That will be a bit complicated. Okay, so today we are at front end, right? So this 1 hour class is what is enough for you to practice. When we step into back end, so after, despite I taking 1 hour, and on top of it, you have to watch the same recording for 1 more hour. And when you're practicing, again, you have to watch the recording and implement the same. So there will be cases where you have to spend almost like 2 to 3 hours just for completion of our normal requirement. Okay, so that level of logical thinking or that level of confusion it might be leading to. Okay, so today you are having some enough time, right? Since you're at front end part. So try to complete by this weekend itself. Okay, it's fine. So whatever your requirement might be in terms of margin left or maybe like text transformations or maybe border curves, whatever, you'll get solution. So let me show you some kind of tutorial also. Maybe borders. I wanted to show you the difference between inline style and CSS part. Okay, you can see this, right? You can see some console window also. So here, this the border style is something property. You can see. Okay, you can see this one, the very first one. Okay, this property specifies what kind of border, right? So here I wanted to define this way: style is equal to a column.
If not, it will throw error, right? If you colon or dash, if it is error.
It might not throw any error. This is just HTML page, right?
Oh, it will not.
So in quotations, you have to define. So color column red is what you have to define, if I'm not wrong. So let me run this. You can see this, right? Okay, so whatever the style I'm displaying it here. Okay, so is this applicable for all the text fields right side or only for this one?
Only for the
Only for
specific.
this. Okay, so let me add one more thing. So maybe font hyphen size. So something about like 25 pixel. And again, you have to end with semicolon. Again, click on run. You can see this respective set of styles are applicable only for this text, right? Okay. Now, if I'm trying to remove this part, I'm trying to remove this part from here. And let me try defining it here. P Not sure whether this works out or not. So click on run. So what are you understanding? So if I give something like P colon 25 pixel, is it affecting only one thing or all other things? Everything, right?
All of it.
Okay, it is affecting everything. And that too, if I give it as color as something like blue. Okay, color something as blue. If I run, what happens? Tell me. All the
It will
things
turn
will
into
still showing it as blue. So here you can clearly understand this is about like our HTML part. Okay, or normal actual content. The above part is about like styles. Okay, after you start working on this tutorial, you'll understand clearly what I'm showing now. Okay, so here there is like almost 10 messages. 10 messages. Okay, and for every message they have given P meaning nothing but one paragraph tag. Okay, for the first one, what I earlier tried is to apply style in terms of color, in terms of font size. So there I understood these styles are applicable only for this element number 1. So maybe for element 2, if I wanted to make the same, again I have to copy paste, right? For second manually. For third one, I have to copy paste it manually, fourth, fifth, sixth, likewise. So instead of I replicating the same for each and every common element here. So for everything, there is something like P as the common tag, right? For entire P, if I define this, then we are understanding font size is applicable for everything. For the last one, instead of P, if there is something different tag, so that related styles will not be applicable for that. Okay, so if there is common across like P here, then it is like applicable. So let me run. So you should see everything color as blue, blue, blue. But for the first one alone, it is still showing it as red. Why? Why? Because it's inline style. So what are you understanding? The above part is what we are calling it as CSS, some kind of common styles there. Okay, so that will be commonly applicable for every of its element. And if you are defining something at inline level, this will be given highest priority. Am I correct? That's right.
Yes.
So if I
Yes.
remove this, now if I run, so you should see everything showing it in the blue color only, no doubt. Everything must be in blue color. So if I change this to green, everything must be showing it in the green color. And here alone, if I give style as something like blue. So what you should observe, so its background style is like green only, but here we have an option to override. You can see this, right? So you have an option to override. So every time inline styles will be given of highest priority, which is not at all encouraged in PEGA. So straight away you can see the same. So not at all recommended. So now on to its respect to UI element, whatever the styles I define, this is purely inline styles, right? So you have to learn that CSS part and you have to copy paste the attributes here. Understood this statement, right, everyone? So click on
Yes.
submit.
Yes.
So you should see those changes applicable. Now save this. Okay, and straight away you'll be getting one severe warning. So what is that? So use of inline styles may result in inconsistent styling, meaning from background skin will be having some styles applicable. And here these inline styles is trying to override the existing styles if it is like any. Okay, so choose skin instead. This is what like strong recommendation. PRPC is not stopping us, but it is recommending us to not to go with inline. Okay, and now let me save this. I think I saved it. So run the case. So you must see like having margin left. You can see this, right? Okay, it is taking 30% space from the left. And you can see something font size increased also. And you can see everything displayed it in the red color. Got my point? Understood, right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. Did I take screenshot for that? Okay. Submit, save. And if we can run the case, you'll get this as the output. Fine. So now if my requirement is to show the message completely in, okay, I'll give you an extra homework. You try this. You have to try this. So this is my screen. And first name is what user is entering. Last name, what user has to enter. Okay. Suppose if I enter first name as something like Chandra. Okay, immediately it has to be automatically changed to uppercase. It has to be automatically changed to uppercase. How to do this? Earlier I told you one rule name also. What is it?
At property, we have to
Edit,
change
edit
it to
What is that? Edit?
at
input.
edit
Edit
we have
input.
to change it
Great.
to uppercase.
Yes. Okay, so at this property level, there will be something kind of edit input. You can try with that. And the same way, you can even try with styling part also, right? Some kind of presentation has to be changed. It need not be in terms of colors. It can be even in terms of case sensitivity also. So what you are supposed to do is you have to go to maybe W3 schools and search for something like converting into uppercase. So for that attribute will be text hyphen transformation colon uppercase. So this you have to try. Just Taradin, you'll do this right?
Yes.
Yes.
Okay. And one more thing. So the last name, whatever you are saying, it must be displayed with this kind of design. Okay. You must see some curved borders here. Don't display directly as 90 degrees. It must be displayed with some rounded borders. So how to make last name displayed as rounded borders? Okay, and how to make its background color? So you try to work on this one, that is text transformation. So background color should be green. Okay, and font size, whatever I type here, it must be of 25 pixel, and font color must be of blue, and border radius must be of 5 pixel curved. Okay, so all these things you are supposed to try. Understood, right?
Yes.
For that, you have to double click on this, go to presentations. At the last, you'll see advanced here. So start going for inline for now. Okay, so tell me initially background color, background hyphen color. So colon as maybe blue. Okay, Inka font
Font
size.
size.
Font size maybe like 25 pixel. You can go for margin left or padding left, and even radius border radius maybe 5 pixel. Okay, 5 pixel curved is what you have to get. Okay, and likewise you try everything and click on save and just check for the output. Okay, so you just try to check there. Okay, so you can see this, right? Font color in Chama. What are the other things we give there?
Font color. Font.
Font color in Chama. Okay, background color
Font
is
size.
okay. Font size okay. Border radius. I think all are like applicable, right? So you try to increase some radius also, maybe 15 pixel or maybe like 20 pixel according to that. Okay, and you try to even go for text transformation, and you have to go even with something like an striking also. What do you mean by striking? So if I'm trying to give my name as Chandra, everything lowercase, you are supposed to get this updated to uppercase automatically, and something like an underlined also, or something like an strike through also. Okay, it's kind of like a strikeout, right? So even all these things you are supposed to get it done using inline styles for today. So if you are not knowing these attributes, I cannot help you when we're working with skin. Okay, so skin related part is nothing but some reusable styles only, nothing but the same attributes is what we'll go for, and we'll try to use it applicable for all the multiple things. But styles will not be differ, right? It will be same. Okay, so today itself start working on these two, inline part as well as skin part from W3 schools. So not related to skin. Okay, related to CSS tutorial, start watching for now. Understood, right, everyone?
Yes.
Yes.
How to work with field value and how to work with basic styles is what you have to know. And finally, we concluded that these styles are applicable only for that UI element, which is no more encouraged, which is not at all encouraged. only for the testing purpose, we'll go for inline style. Okay, now I'm okay with these styles. I tested it here. So then what I have to do, I have to remove all the styles from here and have to do the same from my skin rule. So how to make a skin rule changes applicable only for one single element here. So maybe how to make it applicable for all the elements. So that level of skin related changes is what you'll come to know. For that, basic CSS knowledge is required. Fine. So this is all about like label, pretty easy. And even messages can be displayed. Messages can be displayed with something called field value also, as I told you. Label, field value, and paragraphs, as I told you, right? So label must be completely clear for you. And what is this about like field value? So field value meaning, consider if this is my screen 1, maybe screen 2, screen number 3. Okay, screen number 3. Maybe this is my credit card application, loans application, accounts application. Okay, now we are somewhere designing this credit card application. I wanted to display welcome to HDFC Bank, and I wanted to add some styles on top of it. So it's a text transformation should be kind of uppercase, maybe color should be, or maybe like strike through should be there. So whatever, I'm trying to make some changes using with label, which is not at all correct. Why? Because this has to be displayed even my application 2 also. The same thing, if I wanted to use it into my application number 3, whatever the effort I'm putting today, maybe like 30 minutes just to implement this, again the other developer, or again I have to do for 30 more minutes here also, right? And here also. So here label is not a rule. Am I correct? Did we create any label as a rule now? We simply dragged and dropped a label from data display and added on top of it, which is not a rule. So if it is not a rule, don't expect any reusability on top of it. But if my requirement is to show similar message in more than one application or in more than one place, I have to get it like a reusable, right? So better you create it as a rule, which is no more possible with label. We have an option called field value. So field value meaning, field value meaning, no doubt it is holding some value, and this is a rule. I have to create this as a rule. Okay. And I can use this rule, or I can create this rule somewhere at the top framework level, and I can use it in all the below applications if required, right? So whatever the message I define it here, whatever the styles I set here, I can happily use it everywhere, right? So this is about like field value, which is nothing but a rule. Okay. So field value meaning it's not only to be used for kind of statical messages. I can use field value in terms of error messages also. I can use field values in terms of work object statuses. I can use field values in terms of translation. What do you mean by translation? This entire PEGA application today, I can see it in English language. So the same PEGA application, if it is to be displayed in Japanese or Spanish language, so will you design everything from beginning there? So today we spent almost 10 hours to design all the screens of credit card application, which is running in pure English. So now I wanted to use this application for Japanese people, and they wanted to get the same functionalities, everything as same, but language has to be changed. So for that, what we'll do, we'll go for some kind of Japanese library downloaded, downloaded, and we can go for localization. So if I wanted to go for localization, I have to display the same content in different language. That's it. So for that, again, we'll go for field values. So finally, field value meaning for some field, it must be kind of an value. So here field can be a label, field can be like an work object status, field can be like an validation message, field can be like an localization, field can be like an tooltip, whatever it is. So if my requirement is something about like on hover of an button, I want to display a tooltip. Within tooltip, I wanted to display welcome to HDFC Bank as a message. So if I create it as a field value, I can display it here. Maybe I can use it into this one. Maybe I can use it as a status, everything. It's not just only for statistical message. It can be for validations and everything. So that is the reason if I'm trying to create a field value which will be under data model category, it will be asking us what you wanted to use this for. Now I want to use this for displaying it as a normal message, right? Normal message. Now in that scenario, I have to give field name as PY caption. Getting my point? I have to give this as PY caption. So if I wanted to use field value as a tooltip, then here field name, I have to give it as PY tooltip. If I wanted to use a field value for showing some kind of status, PY work status or PY status work. So these things you have to know. So finally, what I mean to say here is, if I wanted to display a normal message, you can achieve with label, no doubt in it. But label is not a rule. I cannot reuse it. If I wanted to get it reused, I have to create it as a rule. I can go for field value as a rule. So field value is not only dedicated for labels. It can be used in some other requirements also. So in what requirement you are using, you have to tag that field value with dedicated property. So if I go to records and go for field value instances, so you can see all these as field values, right? So you can see field values, sometimes it is tagged as tooltip, sometimes it is tagged as captions, sometimes it is tagged as normal messages, okay? And sometimes it will show with kind of error messages also, whatever it is. So finally, if I'm trying to define PY caption as the name, then I can use it as a regular message or label. Got my point, everyone? Got my point, right?
Yes, so it will be always starting with PY, the field name.
Mostly properties will be of PY.
Okay.
So now I just want to use this for a normal label, right? So what is the name I have to define now? PY
Label.
caption.
Caption.
Okay.
PY caption. And here you can define whatever you want. So welcome banner, it's up to you. Okay, let me take it in the next document. Okay, so working with field value. So include a label in terms and condition. Using field value. Okay, so you should know how to create a field value, and this is the navigation for that. And even if you double click on this one, instead of you typing everything, okay, instead of you hard coding everything, I wanted to use something reusable. I can directly open from here. So if I open, what will happen? So generally, if I give something like ABC as the name, and if I click on open, that rule must be open, right? Wherever it might be, that rule must be open. And here, if I'm trying to open it, so if there is no such rule, it must be created. What is the rule it is creating now? Field value only. Am I correct? It's like field
Yes.
value only. And what is the caption? It is by default taking up
PY
PY
caption.
caption. So all these are expected. So let me give it the name welcome. So create new field value. Okay, straight away we have to click on this one. So it will be taking us to field value creation with caption as PY, sorry, with the name as PY caption. So create and open. And here you can type something bigger message. And this message will be straight away reused. But you don't have any option to add styles here. You'll not have any option to add styles. Then where to add styles? After I'm trying to design this, let me complete this part. And not make any changes. This is enough. welcome banner, this is what it will display. And if you wanted to type something more also, you can type everything, not a problem. For now, I'm simply saving it. Okay, so now come back here. And if you wanted to add some styles, again, you have to go to presentation and you have to take care of this manually only. So some kind of HTML message is what we can reuse. It's not about styles. So if you wanted to reuse styles also, then we have to go for skin rule only. Getting my point? You have to go for skin rule only. Here I can just make use of empty message. Submit, save, run case and check. Understood, right, everyone? Difference between label and what is the other one? Field value. So the same styles must be applicable and with some message. Okay, welcome banner. Instead of welcome banner, you try to define like welcome to HDFC Bank. So the same big content will be displayed there also. And I can use this maybe into my application 2 or 3 or 4. The whole message can be reused, but styles again you have to take care of again and again. Okay, understood, right, everyone, about field value? Come on.
Yes.
Right. Okay, so to go for any statistical message, first we understood going for label and then we understood field value. In label, message is like message is what you have to define manually. Styles is what you have to define manually. In field value, message wise, we can reuse, but styles are not. So we can go for something third one called paragraph. Paragraph is like most advanced kind of. So where any kind of message with bullet points, numbering points, and on top of it, you can customize your own colors. So maybe you can add some extra tabular forms inside, extra image. So this will be more or less similar to our Word document. So in our Word document, you can add n number of styles, right? By including an image or tabular forms. So exactly, we can able to go, implement the same in paragraphs. So let's start working on paragraphs now. Okay. So if I ask you, out of these three, which is most reusable, which is most best and
Paragraph.
Paragraph.
paragraph is best, right? Then in that scenario, when you'll go for label, I don't see any advantage with label, right? It's not at all. I mean, like, there is no advantage with us. Okay, even field value also is not that related, having advantages compared to paragraph. Okay, so here paragraph looks strongly recommended. In that scenario, what is this point of still we going for label? Okay, if I wanted to include small messages without any styles, consider I wanted to collect a mobile number from the user. Okay, so there must be one small text box where we have to collect mobile number code. Okay, country code +91, and in between there must be hyphen and here 10-digit mobile number. So this is some kind of hard coded value, right? So even for this small one, do you require going for a paragraph? Is it reusable anywhere? So wherever you require, can't include a small hyphen? Yes, right? So I wanted to display a message which is not reusable, then what for creating it as a rule, not required. So you can straight away go for something like label in this case. Got it right?
Yes.
Depending upon the requirement, you should understand where to go for label. So where to go for field values and when to go for paragraphs. So we'll start working on paragraphs tomorrow. So there I'll show you some extra or custom styling part also there. Okay, so if I open paragraph rule, as I told you, you will see n number of styles. Okay, and if I wanted to make this first part to be displayed in blue color, maybe second text to be displayed in red color, it is possible. So in paragraph, we are having certain set of colors also, which will be just 20 in number, which will be 20 colors only applicable. Maybe if my client requirement is to make this displayed in gold color, which is not available here, how to go for extra, I mean, like how to go for custom coding also is what you have to know. So for that, if you don't know basic CSS, you cannot do any part of styling. Okay. So this will work on tomorrow. Got it right, everyone? And today you'll be getting some extra hands-on videos also. Okay, these are related to paragraphs, right? Okay, you cannot understand today. So tomorrow, after our paragraph discussion is completed, you'll get those. Got it right?
Yes,
Yes.
Okay. Thank you.
thank you.